pretty simple. I win.
Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. Thank you so much for being here and being part of this community. And it is tough times for Indiana basketball, isn't it? I mean, we're going to talk about this game. We're going to talk about this team. And there was just a thought going through my head the entire time watching this game yesterday. It's just like they are just not good enough. I wrote this quote down. Maybe this is more what I was thinking. Like, are these guys good enough or capable enough to live up to our expectations? And the answer is no. It's just what we expect out of an Indiana basketball team. What we expect is like top level, like what the football team has done. And we're just not getting it. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about the downfalls of this team, how they're not getting it done, and everywhere in between. And, you know, how Michigan State is like how they just single-handedly, I mean, not single-handedly, but they use certain guys, Tang, Fears, and Kohler, to just systematically tear Indiana apart. And can Darian Devries bring in better players? We're going to talk about it all in this episode. But first, hit that subscribe button down below. Thank you for being here. This is a live video, so leave your comments. Good afternoon, Ryan. And yes, my sentiments to you as well. Afternoon. Maybe I took that the wrong way. Like afternoon, man, it's going bad for the Hoosiers. But hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and hit that bell notification so you get notified. I make all kinds of videos. I'm trying to really expand the channel, so I make more. I have probably made like 6 or 7 documentaries on here about IU basketball from the past. Anything having to do with Indiana basketball, high school, Indiana Hoosiers, you have it. I will put it on here. So leave your comments down below. Tell me what you want to see, because I've been working on some more videos, so they will be coming out. But we have this game from yesterday, and it was just a Sunday afternoon annihilation. You know, you saw Indiana get behind early in this game and really shoot the ball terribly to start. I think they were 1 of 12 to start the game, 1 of 8 at one point, I know, to start the game. And this team really just cannot afford to do that type of thing, because they end up the game. I mean, that really affected their numbers, because they never really could get back in the game. Because if you look at the 3-point shooting, it's the efficiency. I mean, Tang for Michigan State, you can tell he's not put in the position where it's all on him, like it's on Lamar Wilkerson and Tucker DeVries. And so he's 6 of 8 shooting 3-pointers in a game like this, where we're putting everything on our 2 best shooters to try to get something done on the floor. And it's just not panning out for Indiana. And I mean, this game, they just looked overmatched. There were some bright spots. I mean, Darian DeVries went to an adjustment. They went to the zone, so like they weren't getting mismatches inside with Enright on a big guy or that type of thing going on. So that, I mean, I guess it slowed down Michigan State a little bit, that they weren't able to just get absolutely whatever they wanted whenever they wanted it. But the rebounding, again, for Indiana is what really shows up. I mean, Kohler just tore Indiana to shreds on the offensive glass. And it maybe like on the paper, it doesn't seem so mix-mashed, but you just watch that game, and when Indiana really needed a stop, a defensive stop, and really needed a rebound, they were not able to get it done. And there was that one possession where they just kept getting rebound after rebound, and then they ended up hitting a 3. That was like the killer. That was like a dagger possession for Michigan State. And they were just able to do it to Indiana whenever they wanted to at all 3 levels. Tang from the 3-point line, and then Fears was just getting in there for the mid-range game whenever he wanted to. And then Kohler on the interior, and he hit a few 3-pointers as well. So, I mean, that really just sewed it up for Indiana in this game. You know, Kohler, I always think, every time I see this dude, I think he should be playing on Wisconsin. Kohler, like the washing machine, Kohler, Wisconsin. He should be from Kohler. He's one guy, I always think he plays on Wisconsin just by looking at his name, because he's like a big white guy. But, you know, in this game, Cooper did not play nearly as well as he played against Purdue. But that's where like talking about what Indiana needs to do going forward, how they're going to be able to like get a team, like an actual team together. I mean, you gotta just have more levels to score. That's really where it's at. As much as we hated Mike Woodson's system, where we had this high low game that was awful. We hated that system because it didn't set anybody up to shoot 3-pointers at all. Now we have a team that's set up to shoot all 3-pointers, and we don't have any big guys that can really get inside. Now, Alexis played his ass off. He played his tail off in this game. But you can see there are times, and I wrote this down, like where Darian Devries just seems dizzy out there on who to put in the game because, 1 second you put Reed Bailey in the game, he gets a foul real quick, makes a couple of stupid plays. Reed Bailey just is unplayable in these games. Now, Sam Alexis, he can do a little bit more out there, and he can get it done in a way, but only like a limited amount. And you can tell at a certain point, he gets really gassed out there, and he's just the only big guy we have to rely on. Where like Michigan State or other teams like Purdue, they have Clough and Danielson and Jacobson or whoever, they have multiple guys in the front line. The rebounding just kills you. I watched Florida the other night, and I know this is an IU podcast, but the more I go and watch other teams, like you have to have a guy in there that's going to eat up rebounds. Like Florida has Chimilu and then, Condon and somebody up, but they got 3 levels. And Huff, those 3 guys, I mean, just rebound the hell out of the ball. And their defensive, like their margin for rebounds is like 14. They out rebound teams by 14. So it's like 14 extra possessions. It is just it's just something that we were not thinking about going into this season. Although we knew, like everybody predicted this. Everybody predicted that Sam Alexis and Reed Bailey were going to struggle in the Big Ten. So going forward, I mean, yeah, and that was a huge part of the game right here. Great comment, because IU's bench had nothing in this game. And that's where we need more balanced scoring as well. When like I watched Florida the other night, and same with Michigan State. A lot of these teams, they have 5 guys in double figures. Some of the best teams have like a 6 guy that's in double figures. You just need guys that are going to reliably score between like 10 and 14 a night. And then you occasionally get that guy that might score like 20, like Tang does for Michigan State. But I mean, Indiana, big letdown in this game is who I was going to get to is Tate and Connerway. I mean, he's back. His ankle's feeling fine. He gives you a donut in this game as really our only guy that can really score, like drive around guys and score. He gives you a donut in this game. You just can't have that. And everybody's been talking about, like, look, they're all mid-major guys and they all can't raise their level. That is true. I mean, that is where it's coming from. Besides Sam Alexis on this team who played at Florida last year, you have tons of dudes like Reed Bailey can't play in the Big Ten. Like Lamar Wilkerson and Tucker DeVries, they're like on the edge. They can be like decent Big Ten players. They just aren't guys that in the Big Ten can have it on their shoulders every night. I mean, Lamar Wilkerson could be like a Tang on this Indiana team if they had another guy who really could score shooting, driving, kicking the ball out, doing all that type of stuff. But you see that like Wilkerson and DeVries, even as they tried to drive the ball and they tried to be more aggressive in that second half, it just wasn't enough for Indiana. Like we have too many, like the equation for Indiana, we have too many mid-major guys that we need them all to play to this level, and only like DeVries and Lamar Wilkerson and maybe Alexis are playing a little better than they have in the past. And we just need like all those guys to do it. And that's where our bench just ends up being nothing. Like, I mean, Sicily's completely gone. Miles is getting a ton of minutes off the bench all of a sudden. But he provides more on the defensive end and does not provide a lot on the offensive end. And that's where we really need it. Like you got Connor Enright playing point guard. He's not really a Big Ten point guard. He's pesky. He's frivolous out there. I mean, he's flailing around. He's trying to draw a charge wherever he can, and he's trying to do all those pesky type of things. But the guys who are really good defenders they don't need to do all that stuff. They're just strong and they just close you in with their shoulders and are able to keep you in front. And that's really the name of the game when it comes to defense. And Indiana really doesn't have those type of guys on this team that can stop the guy from turning the corner and stop the straight line driver. And I will say this, they did, and this is just a product of them working their ass off. I mean, they really did get back on transition defense in this game. They did not allow Carr to get out and get big dunks in the open floor. They did not allow him like to dunk the ball all over the place and get their whole team like fired up that way. They did something good there in this game. So let's see what kinds of comments we got going over here. Michael, Robert, good to see you. And Sick can show player development. DeVries not so. Yep. You know, partially, I mean, this is all DeVries' fault. He's going to get another year. I mean, I looked at just today, like after next year, his buyout would be, I think it's like $6 million. They would have to pay him quite a bit if they fired him after next year. But I mean, we'll see. He's going to have to use this Ryan Carr guy and bring in higher level talent. And it kind of sucks. I mean, all of us fans are really mad at this situation because it's like we're right back to almost like another developmental coach that doesn't know the Big Ten. So he needs to like learn what he needs to have to win in the Big Ten because Reed Bailey and Sam Alexis just cannot get it done in the Big Ten. So where's it going to go from here? I mean, it's all going to be determined by this portal and everything else. But in a second, we do need to talk about Indiana's not completely out of this yet. I think we're going to have to identify some gems to steal. That is definitely true. Like, we got to find a Victor Oladipo. We got to find a dude like an OG Anunoby. We've had fun dudes to watch like that in the past, but in the last 10 years, it has just not happened for Indiana. I don't think we can quit on. No, I'm not quitting on the coach yet. He's going to be in there, and he's got to figure this out because he's going to be in there for a few years. He's going to be here. Yeah. And, you know, he practically played about 7 guys in this game, but really about 6. And guys were getting gassed at the end of this game. Let's take a look here. Minutes wise, Sam Alexis, 31, Tucker DeVries, 40, Nick Dorn, 28. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. You only got 6 guys, and Josiah Miles played 19 minutes. So between, Miles played 19, Reed Bailey played 8 minutes, Tate Conaway played 7. I mean, just Reed Bailey and Tate Conaway, they're not getting much run on this team. I would like to see Conaway get more of an opportunity. I'd like to see him out there. I think he's one of our only guys that shows a little bit more of an upside on the defensive end, that even if he's lunging for balls, even if he's going for it, he's one of our only guys that's aggressive enough on defense to make the other team uncomfortable. What he loses where he lets guys drive around him, I think he gains but whether how much he's injured and how much DeVries is really just playing favorites with Connor Enright, I don't know. I mean, we had that good stretch when Connor Enright was playing okay, and it looked like Tate Conaway was out, but you can definitely see, I think Conaway has a more ability to hit a 3-pointer, where this game for Enright was not a good one because he ended up one of 7 from the field. One of his drives was absolutely terrible. I mean, he just went in. It looked like he had a pretty good lane into the basket, and it's like the ball just flipped out of his hands while he was going down low. That was awful. But 1 of 5 on shooting threes, that's just not efficient enough. And Lamar Wilkerson ends up the game, 5 of 14 on threes, 11 of 21 on field goals. That's not going to get it done. And then Tucker DeVries as well, 3 of 12. So court of public opinion, you got it for you here because he ends up 3 of 12. Really good. They were really good on the free throws. DeVries and Wilkerson, 7 of 7 from the line. Take that as a feather in your cap there. But 20 points for DeVries, 29 points for Wilkerson, and nobody else. I mean, Sam Alexis, 8 points. I mean, nobody else even close to double figures. That's where it's at. You've seen, I think, against Northwestern, we've seen Indiana regress back into a team that they just rely on the wrong things. They're just relying only on Wilkerson and DeVries at times, and other teams can just key in on that so easily. And you need other guys to be involved, and they're just not able to raise their level of play. I mean, it's frustrating to watch. I'm frustrated by it. I'm not giving up on the coach. I'm not giving up on anything. I don't think Indiana fans are toxic. I think, I mean, people were booing Lamar Wilkerson, I think, when he was coming into the game. I heard like Brian Tonsoni and people talking about that at the game. But, you know, like the football team, everybody would boo the football team still if they weren't winning games. And, nobody even cared about that before. And can Darren DeVries, he is off kind of on the wrong start. You really want to get into the tournament that first year. And I'm not saying it's over. This team, I will say, I'm not giving up on them because we really do need to see this out. They win these 2 games and say they could make a run to Saturday, like they'll play Thursday of the Big Ten tournament. Could they do a Thursday, Friday, Saturday run or something like that? That would really help out Darren DeVries to even somehow get this team into like the Dayton side of it, anything like that. And Indiana did that once in the past when they looked dead in the water and they were going to lose to Michigan with Mike Woodson. That kind of helped him keep people on their side. It kept the fans at bay. I mean, you want that for the coach just because I feel bad for this dude. I mean, I think he's, as a coach, is in way in over his head. And I'm not like saying that just to like rip on him, but I just think it's a lot to come in to Indiana University and then have to bring in an entirely new team and then have to hire, like, he's definitely put a lot of work into the coaches that he brought in and put a lot of search into that. And I just think this first year for DeVries, I think for anybody, where Kurt Signetti had it a little bit easier is, okay, Darren DeVries has Nick Norton, who's like kind of like his right-hand man, but Kurt Signetti had built coaches and had guys that came along with him. He had familiar faces around him. All these guys playing on Indiana right now, they were not like a year ago. They weren't going like, oh yeah, I want Indiana. It's really hard to just bubble up something inside of you out of nowhere. Like, yeah, we're going to make Indiana great again and all this stuff. And, that's all great. And I love the sentiment from like, Lamar Wilkerson and these guys want to come here and fight for Indiana and be that. But, we've been here 30 years watching this stuff. It's not going to change overnight like that. You do need the continuity of the coaches, like the continuity of the players. Who they got? They got Manhurts coming in next year. They got Carvalho coming in next year. They got Prince Alexander Moody coming in next year. Darren DeVries is going to have other guys coming in, and then we got Dorn and Sicily coming back. You will have a little bit more continuity next year. And Darren DeVries will get that opportunity to do that. But this season is not over yet. They have a little ways to go. We'll see how it goes. I don't like to give up on things before they leave. Fans aren't toxic. We're just apathetic. I feel that in the comments all the time. There was one comment I was going to read about that somebody left me yesterday about the curse of Bob Knight and all this stuff. But, I'm going to leave that for another day. He lost the whole team giving him a chance. I am giving him a chance. I'm going to give him a chance. He deserves his time. And I do think this is a dizzying first year for DeVries to be in the Big Ten and just all this stuff. We see, Iowa's had a kind of an up and down season, and he's a mid-major coach, and we see why. He's definitely has a little bit of a talent problem at Iowa where, they're just not on the plane sometimes of their competition. And Sturts is doing everything he can for Iowa. We had plenty of chances to be in that game. We did. I thought they had a good chance to come back in that game and just really struggled on defense, and the offensive rebounding is just terrible. Indiana definitely had the shots where they got it down to 5, they got it down to 8, and we were shooting the ball better. I think they're just pressing at times where, Lamar Wilkerson's a great shooter, but when it's all on his shoulders and he really feels that pressure, I love to like great golfers, when they really feel the pressure, you can see it just eat them up. And that's how it can be in a sport like basketball, where it's supposed to be a team game and you feel 100% of the pressure on your shoulders. That's where it's like, can this team play like fast and loose the rest of the way and shoot the ball? Because they looked really tight at the beginning of this game. I thought they were just, when you come out in a game, and I've done this in a golf match before, I've come out where, and you're super tight because you really want to play well and you put a lot of pressure on yourself, and the anxiety kind of just eats you up a little bit. And get like how you work through that situation in your own head, like to, kind of get the anxiety out and be able to like kind of steady the ship, that goes a long ways. But when you do put a lot of pressure on yourself, because that's what it felt like to me at the beginning of this game. They were trying so hard. And when you're trying so hard like that, you just get gassed like really, really fast. And we saw a little bit of that at the beginning of this game. But, scoring, we'll see how the rest of the season goes for Indiana. It's yeah, he will probably get 3 years. I mean, if you look, it'd be a big to fire him after next year would be a big payout. I think he's going to get at least 3 years. I mean, if you look at, I mean, I'll be the first one to say, look at what Ole Miss is doing right now. Beard is not doing very well this season. So kind of maybe dodged a bullet not bringing Chris Beard in. I mean, he knows basketball. The thing is, with these all transfer bunches, it is such a swing and a hit or a miss with them. And when you look around, look at the guy at Kansas State. He had a great team at Kansas State when he brought all transfers in a couple years ago. And then last year, Kansas State, they brought in that dude from Illinois who I do not like, who played forever. He struggled. Like Tang at Kansas State has struggled with some of these. And there are other cases around. The other part of it is Louisville last year, while they had a good team and everything like that, I don't think the ACC is nearly as good as the Big Ten. And that's why I was delayed coming on today. I was nailing that thing to the wall because it keeps falling down, and looks like it's still falling down back there. Hillbilly Monkey, there's a ghost in here. But that's how it is with these transfer teams. The more deeply I've looked into it, and also look at the first year, Dan Hurley, who I love, he's one of my favorite coaches. As much as people don't like his attitude and everything, he was 17-15 his first year. So there are places we got to look at the bright spots. This is a little bit different. It's not like we have all these talented players where last year we're bringing in a bunch of high-level players that were highly ranked. We had a 7-footer, we brought in. We don't have those kind of players on this team. I mean, I was thinking about this yesterday during the game, and this is going to be my last thought before we get out of here. We'll maybe look at a few more comments, but like Xavier Johnson was a much better point guard than we've had on this team this year. As much as I don't like Xavier Johnson, talent-wise and the aggressiveness, how he could lock players down, and just his overall athletic ability, he was a talented guy. Now, Mike Woodson couldn't reel him in, and keep him the train on the tracks with him because he was always doing crazy stuff. But sometimes you do need, as a coach, you got to bring in a guy like that and somehow get through to him. And Indiana doesn't have guys like that. We don't have anybody who's and I'm trying to think of guys they had, through the past 8 years. But, this team is more on par with when we had Rob Finney playing point guard. He was very limited of what he could do. He was 6'1". He had injuries and whatever. And we've kind of had that problem throughout the years. I do really think that, I thought Tatum Conaway would be a better point guard in the Big Ten. Now he's had the injury, he's had this and that, but when it really got into the heat of play, he really struggled turning the ball over against some of the better teams. That to me has to be priority number one. To me, you need a shooter, like a couple of shooters like Lamar Wilkerson from the perimeter, but you need a dog point guard like a Fears, like a Braden Smith, a guy that can really drive the ball and then collapse the defense. Like, you need that guy, a number one. And then you need a guy who can rebound. You need a Chimilu. You need like an Avicic. You need an Eric Reby. You need somebody like that. You need a 7', 7'2" guy that can run the floor, who can also shoot the ball from the outside in this system. Like, that's what Darian Devries has to find. He needs a really, like, you see the better teams, they really kind of like triangulate their success. You know, they have a great point guard, they have a great wing, they have a great down low guy, and then the other role players fill in those spots, like whether you got a good shooter, but those are going to be, that's how Indiana needs to do it. And you need talented guys at those positions. You know, when you look at years past, like Balo, he's probably a more talented guy. Kalel Ware, probably a more talented guy than anybody we have on this team. Like, if you had I don't know, just some of these dudes, if you put together some of our past rosters, like, you know, we don't have even a OG Anunoby on this team that's going to go play like high level. I mean, Lamar Wilkerson and Tucker DeVries will probably not really play in the NBA. I don't think, like, he won't be able to get up and down the court to do that type of thing. And I really do not care what players do in the NBA that much. I watch them some, you know, where they go and what that. If you watch my Romeo Langford video, you know that I try to keep track of some of the tragic stories, but you know, I don't think it's like our job. We want Indiana to be great. We don't want the NBA to be great. So it's just something I don't really care about that much. So I am rambling on here at this point, but here we go. Fundamental Bear, thanks for the comment. I don't understand why Conaway isn't the starter and point guard. I'm right there with you. I mean, he can drive more. I think he has a higher upside, and I think some of his ability to find different passing lanes. I've noticed, because he can turn the corner, he can find guys for a lot more wide open shots, like especially in the corner. Dorn, he seems to be able to find guys in the corner off of his drives, and he's not really been able to develop that this year because of the injury and everything else. We go. Michael with a beard comment. The beard coaching genius has tarnished 12 and 17. Yeah. Apparently, yeah, he was reliant on a couple of those guys. Paducah, oh, I can't think of his name from last year, but yeah, no full court press, no zone, no starting lineup change. They did go to a zone for a little bit, but I think they're too gassed to press. And I don't know how they fix some of these problems. We got a positive comment here. On a positive note, at least we have Aaron making these live videos for. You are welcome. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We're going to get off of here. I mean, this was one of the better, just have a discussion about where Indiana basketball is, because it's going to be, Darian DeVries is going to have to figure it out. And, you know, throughout the years, we've had guys that feel like they're kind of learning on the job. You know, Mike Davis felt like he was learning on the job. Kelvin Sampson was just trying to learn how to not cheat on the job. Crean did okay until he didn't. And, you know, some of his recruiting that's really what ate him up. You know, he had like guys that he brought in. The thing is, your guys have to fit. You know, you bring in like Noah Vonleh. He's just a one and done player. That ends up being like a stopgap year. You kind of see that with this team as well. Like, you bring in Lamar Wilkerson, DeVries. And I think this is really where, like, my frustration as a fan, and where I see a lot of the frustration of the fans, is like it being another like 1 year stopgap type of year. You bring in a lot of seniors, you're going to lose pretty much the bulk of everybody. Alexis, Reed Bailey, Tucker DeVries, and Lamar Wilkerson, and Tate Conaway, right? So, I mean, you're going to lose everybody off of this team and have a whole new team next year. Whether or not they can pick better players and get better players to come to Indiana, and now we don't look as good because we're kind of dwindling off, you know, even more so. So it's going to be all up to Darian DeVries, and we will be right here for it. Got to be some sort of dynamics going on at practice. No Conaway, no Sisley. Miles can't make a shot, and he plays. I agree with that 100%. It's like we just don't know what's happening. I thought Sicily had a good shot early on. I thought he was backing up Devries in a pretty good way, and I mean, he was really coming on strong early in the season. That's why it's so surprising about him. He scored like 22, 18, 12. You look back at the stats, and Sicily was all over it early, and and he was also shooting the ball as well as anybody really on the team. So kind of surprising that he doesn't get a shot. But that's all I got for you today. The Hoosiers, we will be watching them this week to see what they do. And how much would you guys like to see more about the football team? I think I got some more videos about the football team coming up. I didn't want to oversaturate it just because there are so many YouTube videos about football out there. I watched a great one last night. I can't think of the channel name, but there's a great one called Resurrection on the thumbnail. Check it out about Kurt Signetti and the Hoosiers, because still unbelievable. But all right, I'm Brad. You are not. Never too much football. I got some more football videos coming out because we got the spring game coming up. I'm going to go to that. I hope I see you guys out there at that, because I think this Indiana football team is going to repeat. And they're like, we got no time to be talking about that. So I really think they're going to be really think they're going to be like a formidable team again this next year, because I've been doing a lot of research, and the more I look into Pro Football Focus, the football team is looking good. So thank you guys for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. Until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans.